Hi, so I just want to take a moment and thank everyone who contributed money to completing the project in my bathroom in my house. As many of you know, my dad was working on this project when he died. He started doing work on my bathroom when we found mold in my house a little over a year ago, and we had to do a lot of demolition work. And so he wanted to make my bathroom nice for me and fix it up. And so he didn't have a chance to do that. He wanted to put some tile in the bathroom that he was using in his own house, and but he never got a chance to complete the project in my house. And so I really wanted that tile that he gave me to be kind of a permanent part of my house. And so I wanted to show you the before and after shots so that you could see exactly where your money went, and just to give you a little bit more insight into who my dad was and to tell you a little bit about why this project means so much to me. So you're going to see a bunch of buckets and tools and stuff in the before shot, and that's because those are the tools that my dad left in my house, and I just didn't have the heart to move them. So I kind of waited until Mitch did them, came over and started working on it, and let him do it when, even though I knew I should have moved in myself, but it was just kind of hard for me. So yeah, so you'll get to see the before and after shots right now. So this is the bathroom before the project started, and these are all of the tools my dad left behind, and the gross dirty toilet that hasn't been used in, well, years, honestly. The shower, little area behind the shower there. Just kind of a whole mess here, and this is how it was left after the mold remediation got done. And here's the tile that my dad left me, these 4 pieces of tile, and that's kind of what one of the ideas behind this project was, to get that tile to be used so it could have a permanent place in my house. So this is the beginning, the before picture here. This lovely little basement bathroom. And over there. Okay, so the final cost was a little bit more than what I was given, but I was happy to contribute a little bit of money too, because I just think it's kind of a nice tribute to my dad, and it was nice to have that in my house. So here are the after shots. So here's the final product. So different than before. Pretty mirror, and this shower. I think it's so cool. And then there's the tile on the floor. Then he ended up cutting the tile into these strips and making it just down the middle there. And yeah, that's my dad's tile there. It's surrounded by this brighter tile to make it so it's not super crazy dark in here. And so yeah, this tiny little bathroom that was creepy and weird before and that I didn't even like coming in to even turn the light on, is now just this beautiful, bright space. So you can see it turned out really nice, and it's a huge difference. It used to be a creepy little room, and now it's a beautiful room. It's actually my favorite room in my house, even though it's teeny tiny. It's beautiful. So I wanted to share a little bit of thoughts real quick though before I wrap up. It really means a lot that you participated in this project. My dad and I really bonded over projects in my house, and so it's really sad for me to not have him here for this kind of thing, because we spent a lot of time together doing projects like this. We would talk together, and we would go get lunch, and we would go to Home Depot, and if I was babysitting my niece, we would spend time to play with her too. And sometimes he would stay after and like watch TV with me, and we would actually watch the TV show New Girl a lot, which if you've ever seen New Girl, you know that it's not really a type of show my dad would normally watch, but he watched it with me and it made him laugh, and so I couldn't really believe that he watched it, but he did because I did. So he would get really prideful about doing things in my house himself, and if I got frustrated with his timing, or if I did something myself, or if I asked someone else to do it, he'd get really sad, and he'd always say that he's like, I'm going on a guilt trip. And I always thought that was kind of weird wording to say, I'm going on a guilt trip. And I'd always be like, Dad, you don't go on a guilt trip. You're just on a guilt trip. And I never really thought that he said it correctly. Just a quick little story about my dad is that, and this you'll see how this relates in a minute, but he would end phone calls with me very abruptly sometime, and I kind of got the impression he did this with a lot of people, but it was always throw me off because, like, sometimes I would be like mid sentence, it would feel like, and he'd be like, okay, bye bye, and I'd always be like, okay, bye, but I wasn't really done yet. It's what I would think, but it was just his unique way of hanging up the phone with me, at least. And I just feel like in a lot of ways that's kind of how his life ended. I've just been kind of feeling like, oh, okay, like, bye. But I'd kind of think, like, but I wasn't done yet. And I think that he'd feel the same way too. With projects like my bathroom up in the air, I think that he would just be kind of disappointed that he didn't get to finish that himself. And so he'd tell me things like, I could just hear him say, like, oh, I'm going on a guilt trip that I didn't get to finish your bathroom. And just knowing that people out there are there to help finish what he started does give me a lot of closure. And I know that you can't replace him, but it does bring me a lot of healing, this gift that you gave me. And I hope that my dad now knows that he doesn't have to be on a guilt trip anymore and that his project is done with the title that he wanted to use, and it looks amazing. I want to thank in a very special way. I don't really know exactly who was specifically in charge of making this happen for me, but I know that Jess Morgan and Richard Deanda had a lot of influence in it, and the core team at Spirit of Christ. Annette Ernster was really involved and suggested her son Mitch to do the work, and he did a great job. And so thank you to Mitch also. And I want to thank everyone who's been praying for me in a special way over the last several months. I know that people have been doing things for me that I'm not even aware of, and so I just am really feeling grateful for the support I've gotten through this time in my life. The project, that bathroom project, was completed, work was being done on it on May 11th, which was the 5-month anniversary of my dad's death. And I think you guys, many of you know that the 11th has been a difficult date for me each month since his passing. And I just really spend time reflecting on him and his life and his death. And so I think that this gift was completed at a really special time. And I think that my dad probably had something to do with that timing. So yeah, that was really, really good. So I don't know who all contributed money. And I'm really counting on the people who were involved and who do know to kind of pass this video along to make sure that everyone gets thanked, because I want to make sure everyone gets thanked. And if you want me to know who you are, like, I want to know who you are, and so because I want to be able to thank you, like, specifically and individually, but I know that sometimes it's kind of awkward and people like to remain anonymous, so I'll respect that. But if you give me money, I would like to have you over for dinner or for a cup of coffee or something sometime so you can see the bathroom in person and so I can thank you in person. So anyway, thank you very much, and I really appreciate the love and support that you've given me through this time in my life. Thank you.
Hey, it's me. Give me a call. Okay, bye-bye.